I do not love violence specifically, but in a case like this, I'm like, pop off. We're gonna stand and watch and enjoy the show. Hi babes, how are you? My name is Moran. Welcome to my series Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit, and today we have a pretty self-explanatory theme, which is play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And without further ado, let's just dive in and see. So the first story we have today is, am I for laughing in my sister-in-law's face when she DNA tested my daughter? I, 30 male, have a daughter who's 6. I'm not biologically related to her at all. There is no blood relation between us. I was friends with her mother for most of my childhood. We were never involved romantically and were always just friends. She had her daughter at 23 with her 25-year-old husband. When my daughter was a newborn, about 3 months technically, both her mother and father were killed. I won't go into too much detail for privacy reasons, but it was workplace shooting. My friend and her husband had worked in the same building and were both killed. Both my friend and her husband had grown up with less than ideal families and didn't have any siblings, so there wasn't any next of kin for their daughter to go to. However, because I was close with them, I was able to adopt her. Even though I had been iffy about the idea of kids, I didn't want their daughter to grow up in foster care or around people who didn't have a connection to her bio parents, so I stepped in. My parents and siblings know that my daughter is not my actual daughter biologically speaking. My daughter, I'll call her Lily for the post, also knows that she's adopted. I never really hid the fact that she was adopted. She knows her parents are dead and were killed by a bad man, but I'm saving the details for when she's older. Lily does not look like me at all. She looks exactly like her mother and biological dad. Most people assume that I'm her bio dad and that she just took after her mom. I don't ever really correct this when and if people assume this because it just seems unnecessary. My brother has been with his fiance for about 2 years now. A few weeks ago, we were all meeting up at my parents' house, and my sister-in-law saw an old picture of me, my friend, and her husband. She pointed to my friend and asked who she was, and I explained that was Lily's mother. Sister-in-law got quiet and stood in front of the picture for a while. I didn't think much of it. To clarify, she knows my friend died, but I guess didn't know that she had been married or that Lily is not my bio daughter. I suppose she assumed my daughter was mine and my friend's biological daughter. My sister-in-law got a DNA test done on my daughter behind my back. She used my brother's DNA for the test, and when it came back that they weren't related, she knew that meant me and Lily weren't related. She came up to me with the results and waved them in my face, saying that I was taking care of a dead woman's affair baby. She said this to me in front of my daughter. I just stared at her for a while before bursting out laughing at this. I told her I knew Lily wasn't my biological daughter and that this thing called adoption exists. Her face went red and she stormed off. My brother is mad I embarrassed his fiance, but I said she embarrassed herself by DNA testing a kid that isn't hers and then parading the results up to me. What did she want me to do? What was her goal with this? Did she want me to break down and abandon my daughter? My brother said she thought she was doing the right thing and called me an asshole. I don't feel like the especially considering my sister-in-law was the one who stuck her nose where it didn't belong. I'm asking for Reddit opinions, mostly just for validation. So, was I the asshole? Not at all, and your sister-in-law played stupid game and won a stupid prize. It just astounds me that your brother is on her side and he doesn't see anything wrong with the story, because let's forget the DNA test for the second. Who in their right mind would reveal this information in front of the child? That is so messed up to do this. If the girl and the dad hadn't known, how do you think that would have gone down? How do you think that would have impacted the daughter? That is just sick to do it. Absolutely sick. And yes, okay, if you suspected that some is afoot. Maybe just ask your fiance or husband, whatever, the brother, or maybe talk to the OP directly, ask around, gather some more information before taking some drastic measures that are up in themselves, because doing a DNA test behind somebody's back is also kind of super weird when you weren't asked. You have nothing to do with the situation. What did you want to do? And it's like, she wanted to do the right thing. No. She wanted attention and she wanted to prove herself right, and she wanted everybody to pat her on the back and tell her how great she is for noticing this and freeing everybody from the affair baby. But like, you're literally trying to destroy this little child's sense of self and relationship with her father, because if we are imagining that she hadn't actually known, you would have her up for life. I don't see any scenario where that is considered the right thing. And we have an update apparently. So let's see. Ooh, it is called "My brother lied to my sister-in-law about everything." My sister-in-law ended up coming to my house and apologizing, as well as telling me the full story. My brother put her up to the DNA test. When I first adopted Lily, my brother for some reason believed that Lily was my bio daughter. He thought that me and Lily's mom were together and just weren't telling anyone. He believes that when she got pregnant, Lily's mom told me that Lily was mine and that she was going to just say that it was her husband's, and I went along with it because I didn't really want kids. Sister-in-law was under the impression I believed I was Lily's bio dad. She saw the picture of Lily's mom and I, and after asking for clarification on who she was, assumed we were together in it, and then got suspicious when she saw that the other guy in the picture, Lily's actual bio dad, looked a lot like Lily. I also want to clarify, I didn't tell her that Lily's bio dad was in the picture because she had specifically pointed to Lily's mom, and I assumed she knew that Lily was adopted. I didn't know my brother had been telling her lies for nearly 2 years. She got the DNA test out of her own suspicion, and my brother helped her with it because he thought it would reveal that I was actually Lily's bio dad. He manipulated her into thinking that it would clear the air of suspicion, when really he was just trying to prove that I was Lily's bio dad and lying about the reasons for adoption. Well, of course, the results proved I wasn't Lily's bio dad and that my brother was wrong. My brother felt too embarrassed to confess to his fiancée that he had lied about the circumstances, which is why sister-in-law confronted me with the results. My sister-in-law also apologized for showing me the results in front of my daughter. She told me that her mom had an affair and cheated on her father, got pregnant with another man's kid, and had let her father believe the kid was his. Her father was devastated by this when he found out, and she grew very resentful of women who do that to their spouses. She had wanted to sit me down and talk to me about it without my daughter, but when she saw me with my daughter, she got angry, thinking I was led on to believe I was raising my daughter when I was actually raising another man's kid, and she ended up exploding and immediately waved the results in my face. My sister-in-law does feel very guilty, and she's angry at my brother for lying to her. I'm not angry at her for doing the test because she thought she was doing the right thing. I also forgave her for the way she told me about the results, because clearly affairs are a sensitive subject for her, and I can understand why she would have exploded like that. I'm pretty sure she plans to break up with my brother now, and I don't blame her. When I called and asked my brother about this, he admitted it. When I asked why he would think this, he said that he couldn't think of a reason why a man who had been against having kids at the time would willingly adopt a baby without having a blood connection to it. He told sister-in-law that I was Lily's bio dad and was aware of the fact. He took it a step further and said that me and Lily's mom were together at the time of Lily's conception. Both me and my parents are going low contact with my brother for a while now. I know I will forgive my brother eventually, but I can't do that right now. He believed I was low enough to have an affair with a married woman, get her pregnant, take no responsibility, allow her to pass off the kid as another man's, and then only take responsibility because her mom died. Wow, that is quite a plot twist, and your brother is quite the conspiracy theorist. I forgive sister-in-law for everything. She was clearly led to believe the wrong thing. And yeah, if she got triggered, that kind of absolves her a little bit that she did it in front of the daughter, though I still kind of feel icky about it because, okay, affairs trigger you and like that, but the mom is dead. It's weird to get this angry at a dead person. Like, you have to also take into the account that this woman is literally dead and you flew off the handle because you thought that the dead woman lied to this man. A very, very flimsy explanation, and I just wish she hadn't done it, but we all make mistakes, so I guess that's fine. At least she apologized, at least she knows she did it the wrong way, and at least she feels bad about it. The brother, I just want to say, is wild, just very impressive in his own assumptions, not to believe what your brother says to your face and then concoct this whole story because you can't think of a reason why a man would adopt somebody else's child. I don't know, human decency. I don't know, as specified here, the fact that they were friends since childhood and then she tragically died along with the baby's father and he decided to step up and do the right thing. Yes, very few people on this planet would actually do that because very few people are actually decent, but I applaud this man. He is just a very impressive specimen. To do that, it requires so much selflessness, so much care and empathy, and I think like he's literally a hero for doing that. That is amazing, and I hope that he's able to give this little girl a happy life and that the brother actually learns his lesson. So yeah, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Let's see the next story. Am I the for blowing up at my girlfriend after therapy? Backfired. My 28 male girlfriend Emma, 27 female, and I have been together for 6 years. For most of the time, we've been happy, like really happy. The kind of relationship people say just works, you know? We were always on the same page, rarely fought, and genuinely enjoyed each other's company. But over the past year, things started to feel different. Small arguments here and there, more miscommunication, and just this weird sense that we weren't as in sync as we used to be. It wasn't anything major, just the usual wear and tear stuff, or so I thought. Emma, however, seemed to be more concerned. She started pointing out issues I wasn't even aware of, like how I supposedly wasn't listening enough or wasn't as emotionally available as I used to be. I admit I've been busy with work, but I thought we were doing okay. Still, I didn't want to dismiss her feelings. Then, about 6 months ago, she suggested we go to couples therapy. Now, I've always been a bit skeptical about therapy unless things are really bad, but I agreed because I figured it couldn't hurt. She said she found a great therapist through a friend and we should give it a try. I wasn't familiar with this Lily, but Emma was excited about it, so we booked our first session. At first, the session seemed fine. Lily asked good questions, got us to open up, and gave us some tools to communicate better. I felt like I was doing my best to listen and improve, but something about it felt a little off. Every time we talked about any issue, it seemed like Lily was always subtly siding with Emma. If I mentioned being stressed at work, she'd steer the conversation towards how I wasn't giving enough attention to Emma. If I brought up a disagreement, somehow it became about my communication issues. After a few weeks, Emma started using phrases like, Lily thinks you should try this, or Lily says you need to work on that. It felt like everything I did was being scrutinized and dissected by this woman I barely knew. I didn't want to be paranoid, but it seemed like Lily was slowly convincing Emma that I was the problem in the relationship. And every time I tried to voice my own concerns, they were brushed aside. I tried to push through it, thinking maybe I was just being defensive, but it didn't stop. Every session, session, the same dynamic. It was like Lily was planting seeds of doubt in Emma's head and Emma was running with them. I even started to wonder if maybe I was the problem. Was I actually this bad of a partner? Things reached a boiling point a couple of weeks ago. During a session, Lily started suggesting that maybe we should consider a break so I could work on myself more. That felt like a slap in the face. I'd been trying so hard to be better, and now she was suggesting we split up. I looked at Emma, waiting for her to disagree or defend me, but she just sat there, quietly nodding along. After that session, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I blew up at Emma when we got home. I told her I didn't trust Lily's judgment, that it felt like she was just feeding Emma reasons to blame me for everything wrong in the relationship. Emma got defensive, saying I was overreacting, that Lily was just trying to help us work through our issues. We didn't talk for a few days and I started feeling guilty for snapping. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe therapy really was exposing some flaws I needed to work on. But then something happened that blew everything wide open. Last week we went to a mutual friend's party. While there, I overheard Emma and her friend Sarah talking in the corner, giggling about something. I caught just a bit of their conversation. "I can't believe you pulled it off for so long. Poor guy still thinks she's an actual therapist." I immediately confronted them, and that's when Emma's face turned pale. Sarah quickly tried to backtrack, but the truth spilled out. Turns out Lily isn't a licensed therapist at all. She's one of Emma's close friends from college who thought it would be fun to help Emma fix me by posing as a therapist. Emma had set this whole thing up because she thought I wouldn't agree to therapy otherwise. They figured that with Lily playing the part, they could guide me into becoming a better boyfriend without me knowing. I felt completely betrayed. For months, I had been spilling my heart out to someone who wasn't even qualified to help, and Emma had been in on it the whole time. All those sessions where I felt attacked and manipulated suddenly made sense because I was being manipulated. When I confronted Emma about how messed up it was, she broke down, saying she never meant to hurt me and that she just wanted to help us grow as a couple. But honestly, I don't know how to move past this. I haven't been able to look at her the same since. Now, Emma and her friends are saying I overreacted, that it was just a white lie meant to help our relationship, but I felt like I've been gaslit and lied to for months. So, am I asshole for blowing up at my girlfriend when I found out our therapist was a total fraud? This is messed up, man. I don't think you're an asshole, and this is not a white lie. This is not I just wanted to make you better and whatever. This is manipulation and gaslighting and all sorts of messed up. She just enlisted her friend to help her with your mind and basically train you like a dog so you fit better for her as a partner. And that is just not something you do. She put you in danger by like taking you to a therapist who's not really a therapist. She's not qualified. She will do more damage than good because both of these girls are in cahoots and they are just planting things in your head that are not necessarily healthy or good. They are just what these girls want you to think. So that's messed up, and I wouldn't be surprised if you broke up with her, because if she's capable of that, what else is she capable of? And also, this is such a lame excuse that she set this whole thing up because she thought you wouldn't agree to therapy otherwise, but like you thought Lily was a licensed therapist. So what is the actual difference between taking you to a fake therapist and a licensed therapist if you agreed to go to a licensed therapist anyway? That doesn't make any sense. That is a huge plot hole in the story, in the explanation, and I'm not surprised because that's story doesn't make any sense from her point of view. She just straight up wanted to train you and make you a better boyfriend and manipulate you, and now she's scrambling for any sorts of plausible explanations to just keep you under control and keep you from leaving her, which I think you honestly should. We sadly don't have any updates, but I do hope this man is doing not bad, that he's recovering from this ordeal because it's messed up. And yeah, Emma and Lily played a stupid game, won a very stupid prize, as they should have. Let's see the next story, which is Emma the for planning a game night only for the couples in my friend group. I'm 25, male. My friend group are all in our early or mid 20s. We do typical friend group activities such as dinners, cocktail bars, hiking, game nights, etc. Often just all the guys will hang out or just the girls, but also very often the whole group gets together. We're all couples, all long-term living together, except for Riley, who is female, 23, and single. I have no issue with her personally. She's funny and pleasant during group hangouts. Riley has been single for a while, lives alone, and says she feels no urge to get into a relationship. A few people in the group had tried to introduce her to people a few times, but she ended up not being interested in any of them. What bothers me is when the whole group of all couples is together, having just one single person totally throws off the dynamic. It makes the vibe awkward because everyone else has their person with them and Riley is just there alone. It also totally makes our group an odd number, which throws off restaurant seating and sways game night. In restaurants, it's especially weird because we have to explain how we're splitting checks as couples and then just Riley by herself. Also, sometimes when one of the guys is sitting on either side of Riley, a waiter will assume he's her boyfriend by the seating pattern and it messes up the checks and creates an awkward situation. My girlfriend and I are planning to host a game night next weekend, and I suggested that we only invite the couples to this one. She asked what I meant, and I basically said only the people in our friend group who are couples, so it can be a couples game night. My girlfriend said that would only be acceptable if our friend group was a solid mix of couples via single people, but otherwise it's literally just excluding Riley, who everyone likes. I said that's what I wanted. The vibe was weird with just one single person, and I want to do more things with just the couples in our friend group so it's less awkward. My girlfriend got super pissed and snapped at me that nobody else thinks it's awkward and we're not leaving Riley out just because she's not in a relationship. It turned into an argument between my girlfriend and I, and she told me that I could just not come if I had such a problem with her being there. I talked to some of the guys in our group about it, expecting them to agree with me, but they all said they have no problem with her coming. One of them even said him and his girlfriend, Riley's best friend, sometimes go out to dinner with them and Riley, and it's not weird at all. My girlfriend is pissed at me, and now the other guys are acting like I have a problem. Am I the for just not wanting a constant third wheel in my friend group? Yes, you are. You seem very oddly fixated on Riley and specifically on her lack of a Mian. You just are being very strange about this, very suspiciously strange, I might add. It seems like you just want to find an excuse to push her out of the group because it somehow doesn't please you logically or aesthetically, I don't know, to have a single girl in the group of couples. But to be honest, like, I don't see many problems. You know, the waiter will assume that somebody else's boyfriend is her boyfriend. Like, that takes literally 3 seconds to clarify. It's not that hard, honey. And also, when y'all are splitting checks by couples, blah blah blah, you still have to explain to the waiter that you are splitting and the way you're splitting is couples. So you just add, we split it between couples and this single friend. It's not hard, is it? You don't have to spend like 2 hours trying to figure this out. This is not rocket science. It's just adding one more thing at the end of the sentence. So yeah, no, I do think you're being weird about it. You played a very stupid game trying to with this girl for no reason, and I am glad that everyone thinks you're weird for this because yikes. Let's see the next story. My 29 male girlfriend, 29 female, has a hard time acting like a girlfriend. How do I address this? My girlfriend Rain and I have been in a relationship for a few months. We didn't get together in the most conventional way because she was my wife's friend and we fell in love. My wife both Rose and I lost that excitement in our relationship. My girlfriend and I got that excitement, and unfortunately, we started an affair. I regret it deeply. We should have told her right away. We did end up confessing, and unfortunately, my wife did not take it well. Fast forward a couple months. Rose did a great job at, well, being a wife, and I took that for granted. She made sure we spent quality time, did nice gestures, a great mother to our child. With Rain, she doesn't help at all with the baby and just sits there. To clarify, the baby I have with Rose, we have joint custody, and I'm now staying with Rain and she doesn't do I've asked and she complains. Mind you, she also hasn't seen her child in months. She had a child with her ex husband and makes zero effort to see her child. She is so indifferent about it, it's crazy. But perhaps worst of all is she goes to the club all the time and doesn't let me know. She will just come home at 3, 4 a.m. and it annoys me. Meanwhile, I came home from work and cooked and cleaned. I don't mind her going out, but all the time, she needs to at least act like a partner. It seems like she just prioritizes fun. You might just win the stupidest prize for today because, dude, you cheated on your wife because you thought y'all lost this excitement. Instead of working on your relationship, you found the excitement with her friend, and probably the excitement was because she seems like a party girl who doesn't give a about her child, who is constantly going out, and on top of it there is this layer of secrecy and intrigue that comes with the affairs, which literally makes the affair exciting, and for a lot of people that's part of the thrill. And then you left your wife for this excitement and now you're upset about the excitement. What in this whole thing made you think that when you go to her she will become as good of a partner as your wife was? She showed you who she is from the start. I don't think she stopped giving a about her own baby just when you came together. No, I think she was like that all the time, but you did like her and going out with her probably right behind your wife's back. And now you're upset that she will not take care of your baby. Well, honey, toughen up. You up, you take care of your own baby and don't act surprised that the party girl you left your wife for is a party girl. All the best to you. Let's see the next story. Am I the for kicking my girlfriend's brother out because he gifted us a dildo while visiting after our daughter's birth? I, 27 male, have been with my girlfriend, 26 female, for 7 years and known her since we were in high school. She gave birth 2 weeks ago to our first child, a daughter. This will be relevant. We had invited each of our parents, and in her case, her 2 brothers, 24 male and 30 male, to visit our home a few days after she was discharged. I know her parents well, they're very nice people, but not her brothers. Well, during the gathering, everyone handed us gift bags, all of which contained expectable fare that we appreciated. Stuffed animals, dolls, pacifiers, diapers, blankets, onesies, dresses, children's books, etc. Except for the one that my girlfriend's younger brother gave us. When we removed the box inside it, which was the only thing the bag contained, we saw that it was a dildo. My girlfriend asked him who it was for, and he replied, for the girl when she's a bit older. I asked him if this was some tasteless joke. He said that he really thought that this was something his own niece would appreciate. I was irate. I yelled at him to get out and take the with him and to never talk to our daughter, which upset my girlfriend's parents, who were hurt that I screamed at their son and kicked him out over something that they thought was minor. So her parents and the older brother left as well. My girlfriend tells me that although she's as angry at him as I am, I should have been more lenient and that I should apologize to him because he's her brother, whom she's very close to. Am I the for kicking my girlfriend's brother out because he gifted us a dildo while visiting after our daughter's birth? What? I do not believe he genuinely thought that this was a great gift. I mean, people be weird sometimes, but come on, man, this is seriously not funny. I don't know. I feel like it's just an excuse he gave when he saw like you getting angry and he realized that he messed up. Probably it was some tasteless joke and he thought it would be hilarious. I don't know. But regardless of his motivations, maybe he truly is that clueless. I don't think you're the because it is extremely inappropriate. You gave a sex toy to a baby. This is so weird on so many levels. The top comment here says, not the asshole, gifting a dildo to his sister could have been a gag gift between very close siblings, but for your niece that is just 15 days old, that is so weird and inappropriate. I would also feel very uneasy to have that person around my daughter. Let's see the next story. I knocked the lights out of my sister's boyfriend and couldn't care less. My sister, 14, had brought a guy over for dinner, and both me and my dad were pretty irritated because that dude looked like he was in his mid 20s. I asked him how old he was, and he said 16. My dad and I couldn't understand the world no more. My mom kept saying what a nice young man he was, while me and my dad were just looking at each other in disbelief. He then dropped by on a daily basis and even tried to become friends with me. Personality wise, he fits the "why are you playing this deck? It isn't even meta right now, you boss" stereotype or something like that. I don't know. Man, I don't even know how they got together. Please don't take it the wrong way, but my sister is a beautiful girl. Why would she settle with such a weirdo? But never mind. My mom washed the dishes one day and asked me to look in my sister's room if there were any left. I then found something much more interesting: cigarettes, vapes, and other funny things. Upon seeing this, I told my dad. He was shocked, but I had one question. How did she get that stuff? I think y'all know the answer by now. We didn't tell her about my findings and instead let her boyfriend come over. I picked a time when my mom was at work because she would have held me back. I grabbed him and ordered him to show me his ID. 21 fucking years old. 21. What the fuck? I kindly pushed my sister away and asked him about the drugs. There were also some that go beyond cigarettes. If you know, you know. He denied it again and again until I got more violent. We live in a small village and everyone knows everyone around here. Nobody would sell her that. And don't even get me started on the hardcore that I found. He told me the truth after my grip got stronger and I kept building more and more pressure on him. Our little cornball was actually a drug seller that used my sister to store some drugs in our apartment. I flipped out and screamed in his face. My sister tried to get in our way while my dad woke up and didn't understand the situation. When I told my dad, my sister started to cry and scream. But he, to my surprise, let me do my thing and I punched her boyfriend in the face with a right hook. It landed clean and his lights went out. We then called the cops and I thought that they will whoop my ass for whooping his ass. But to my surprise, they didn't do me any harm except for asking me some questions. It's been 4 months, he got arrested, and ever since, my sister hasn't spoken to me. I thank my dad again for being so cool, and my mom for not ripping my ears off. She was burning until I told her the story. I'm not fluent in English, so please forgive me for any nonsense. Cheers. Oh, dude, this story makes me sick. The audacity of this 21-year-old drug dealer to just chillingly lie like that to your faces while he is an adult and y'all are adults. He does not give a shit, does he? He thought he's like immortal or something, and I'm very glad you found everything out before it was too late, before she got too involved with him. And I am genuinely impressed by how thoughtless this man is. He uses a 14-year-old girl for stashing drugs at her place and also doing God knows what with her, as with his girlfriend. And he's so confident in his ability to lie that he tries to befriend an adult brother and parents. What in the is going on? I think what you did was perfect. I do not love violence specifically, but in a case like this, I'm like, pop off, do your thing. We're gonna stand and watch and enjoy the show because, yeah, that man definitely deserved it. I'm glad he was arrested, and I would honestly make sure that the whole entire village knows exactly what this man did so that all the other 13/18-year-olds, or maybe even younger, were kept away from him and knew better than to get involved with that piece of shit. Also, yeah, he deserves to be shunned by the whole community and him. The top comment here: your sister won't appreciate it now, but she will later. If she doesn't acknowledge it soon, in 7 years, ask her if she'd date a 14-year-old. When she says, what the no, remind her about this moment. Or when you're 21, assuming you're not yet, no age given, tell her you're dating a 14-year-old, and when she flips out, remind her about this. Kids are dumb and believe groomers/pedos when they say things like, you're so mature for your age. Yuck. Yeah, that is a classic phrase that was also told to me when I was under 16 by multiple men, and that is disgusting. And for anyone who ever doubted this, I want to say, please never believe them, because that's a manipulation tactic to get into your pants, and those men are sick to their cores. Okay, don't ever let them close to you. The drug dealer played a stupid game, won a stupid prize, and let him have fun in jail. The last story I have is quite something, so strap in. I organized a fake wedding and married my wife, and now my actual wife is threatening to expose me. I'm using a throwaway account since I can't risk anyone I know catching on, but I have to talk about this to someone. 7 years ago, I met my now wife while completing my master's degree. She was a foreign student, and we were in the same flat for student accommodation, and we hit it off immediately. It wasn't long before we started dating, and then fast forward a year or two, and she decided to stay in the country, and we moved in together. I loved this woman, and things were going great, but she eventually started to bring up the topic of marriage. Her family is very traditional, and she insisted that if we were to continue being together, then we have to get married. I was strongly against this, but I seriously cannot say no to this woman, and I eventually agreed. Now, here's the kicker. I'm technically still married to my ex-wife. We did not end things on good terms, so I left without getting a divorce, changed my number and contact info. I did not want to have any contact with my ex-wife, and since my wife is foreign, she doesn't know the proper legal processes required to get married here, and I told her that I would deal with the legal aspect while she organized the wedding. She did have some questions as to why she never had to sign anything or provide any form of ID, but I lied and said that it wasn't needed for where we live. We had a large wedding, and it would have been absolutely magical if it weren't for the fact that the whole time I was sweating bullets, wondering if anyone would find out it was all a ruse. The only people who had any idea it wasn't a proper wedding were the staff, where I said that we were already legally married and were having a reception now that we had the money. We've been married for almost 3 years now, and she still has absolutely no idea. And it seemed like I had gotten away with the impossible. That was until last week, when my actual wife reached out to me. Apparently, she found out through a mutual friend that I had remarried and got my contact info from them. She called me all sorts of names and said that she would make sure that my wife finds out about my lies. I begged her not to and offered to get an actual divorce, but she told me that it was too late for that. I've been stressed out of my mind these past few days and honestly don't know what to do. Telling my wife is absolutely off the table, as I know for a fact that she would leave me without hesitation. So yeah, that's my situation. How did you think originally this was gonna go? This just confuses me because you had to have known that you can't keep this ruse up until the end of days. So what was the thought process here. And honestly, you deserve for your wife to leave you and more, in my opinion, because that is an extremely insane thing to do. You were lying to her, and this is just wrong. Just plain wrong. I also kind of wonder how trusting this girl is that she believed everything you told her, but we cannot blame her in this because he lied from start to finish. And now I find it hilarious that he goes like, telling my wife is absolutely off the table. What do you think is gonna happen now? Dumbass. Like, you played the stupidest game and won the stupidest prize. We have an update. The last couple days have been a whirlwind, and I'm making this update to say that you all were right. My ex told my wife about the false marriage, and my life has completely collapsed. My now ex-wife completely blew a gasket and was furious with me. She accused me of keeping her as a mistress so I could have two wives, which I tried to tell her wasn't true, but she wasn't having it. She stormed out of the house and is staying with a friend, and the closest thing to contact I've had with her is through a friend. She told our friends, my family, and even my job about what happened, and they're all taking her side and have shut me out completely. I got fired, and my dad called me up last night and told me that I am not welcome back home and not to contact my parents or my family. I genuinely don't know what to do now, as I will not be able to pay my rent, especially without my wife helping out financially. A lot of you mentioned the issue of immigration, which I thought would not be a problem as she had a work visa. As it turns out, she had a work visa, but it expired a long time ago. She thought that she would be fine since we were married, but after she learned it was a sham, she has been in a lot of hot water. Apparently, after she contacted the Home Office, they said if she did not get voluntarily deported, she would be detained and will get a maximum 2 or even 5-year ban from entering the country regardless. I'm not entirely sure how her family took the news, but according to the friend she's staying with, they're not happy with her and might not take her back either. So yeah, a lot has happened. I feel like complete and know that this could have all been avoided, and now I have completely blown up both of our lives. Dude, honestly, you. That's all I have to say, because you ruined this poor girl's life, possibly for many, many years to come. She's getting deported because of this? What in the It makes me furious. I only want to add that let this story be a reminder to every woman not to be too trusting with their partners. It's good to have mutual trust, it's good to rely on someone, but you still, in matters like these, in matters like visas, marriage certificates, any type of documents, financial matters, legal stuff, you have to double check. You have to know what's going on, because when you just put it off and when you think everything is going to be fine, he's going to take care of this, like this might happen. And then you are left in complete hellhole, not knowing what to do and thinking, why didn't I check this sooner? I think it's great to trust your man, and you have to trust him if you're marrying him, but please do always know what's going on. Please do check, and please keep exit routes for yourself in case something goes to complete, because it's always better to be safe than sorry. This was the last story I've had for you today. Messed up. To be honest, this whole episode was messed up. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Thank you so much for watching, if you're still here, though I doubt it. And I will see you with another video probably soon. Bye.